The deeper we get into the woods, the eerier they become. Shocking things residing inside the peculiar barks, staggering, implausible creatures hiding in the botanical world, and the jagged mouth openings ready to reveal some dark truths. Let's have a look at these shocking discoveries made in a tree that no one was supposed to see. Eerie figure. Somewhere in the middle of a forest while searching for a perfect place in woods for camping, a couple found a huge tree standing alone on the ground. Thinking to cut the tree into some logs, just when one of the guys got closer to the tree, he was left stunned to see an eerie figure peeking from inside the tree. Zooming in further to closely examine it, the figure turned out to be the face of a girl that might have been trapped inside the tree for an unknown time period. Though many believed this was just the trunk of a tree, playing tricks on the human eye by growing into this shape. To me, it actually looks like an old cursed tree enclosing a mysterious girl. Mysterious carcass. I don't know how these guys managed to identify the trees with some shocking surprises. A few years back in Kuala, a jaw-dropping discovery was made when a tree was dropped to obtain some logs for the construction. Buried below the rotten tree trunk, there was a strange carcass that puzzled the woodcutter. The unknown body remained a mystery until it was examined in a lab, where it was identified as a mummified dog and was believed to be almost 1,000 years old. According to anthropologists, the dog might have been used in ancient hunting expeditions, and this discovery was believed to be one of its kind. Nowadays, this naturally preserved mummified dog is on display in a Mexican museum. Bear cubs. Hearing the crying of animals for 2 days, the cabin owner decided to follow the noise, and then, going a few meters far, she was shocked as she found 2 tiny snouts peeking out of a small hole in a tree, which were of bear cubs, of course. Realizing that they are in dire need of help, as the poor cubs were stuck inside, but with no big hole to bring them out. The thing which shocked her was how did they get inside? Quickly calling the police and leading them towards the tree, though they were rescued in minutes, the dehydrated cubs were taken to a rehab before they were sent back into the woods. Cow rescue. A cow from a farm in Indonesia got lost, and when the owner found it, it was stuck to the tree like this. The head of the poor cow was stuck between the branches, and the animal seemed to be in a great deal of pain. The head was stuck at such an angle that it was unable to wriggle free. The locals and the authorities rushed in to help the cow. It was stuck in this position for a long time and was feeling extremely dehydrated and lethargic. Rescuers knew they had to work fast to free it. They started by cutting down the tree branch to which the cow was stuck. But the mission proved to be plenty risky, as the animal could have gotten hurt by the electrical saw. They worked hard and in the end got successful in helping the poor cow. Luckily, it was free, with no damage done whatsoever. Lady statue. While walking through a haunted wilderness somewhere in Canada, a young guy was forced to stop and record something extraordinary that was never witnessed before. Right in the middle of the woods, there was an old tree. But that was not what forced him to stop. He was actually stunned to discover the unusual body of a lady there. With the bizarre curved body and small growths of plants coming out of its eyes and mouth, it was literally looking like something ritual. Different myths were related to this, with some claiming a lady was turned into a tree as a punishment, while others believed that some spirit was captured in the tree. However, some people claim the statue was nothing but an illustration. Well, what do you guys say? Woodworms. Now, this is literally something stomach-turning stuff. Look at this guy pulling out the slimy, long, ribbon-like creature from the hollow trunk, and then preparing it for a delicious slurp. This might seem disgusting to you, but in some countries like the Philippines and Indonesia, these crawling creatures are a perfect delicacy, known as shipworms. These creatures mostly live inside the mangrove trees and make them hollow by consuming the wood. The locals especially hunt for these dead trees deep in Botanical forest in order to obtain these slippery treats. For the rest of the world, this may be nothing more than unappetizing stuff. But for these Southeast Asians, these whitish, slippery, greasy worms are best to enjoy a yummy meal. Before we move any further, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can keep watching our amazing content. Unidentified figure. A man driving a car on a busy road discovering something truly beguiling. A creature was seen sitting on a tree branch. If we talk about the appearance, the mystery creature was said to be resembling a humanoid with a head, a torso, and 4 limbs. But it had big, fairy-like wings attached to the body. So yeah, it was definitely not human. Also, it seemed as if it was spying on the road. After a while, when it noticed that it was being captured, it suddenly flew away from the branch. Maybe it is some lost mythical creature that came out of its hiding spot and is undiscovered up till now. Goat climbing down a tree. It seems as if following the principles of gravity is a choice for some animals. This video clip that surfaced on the internet shows a goat casually walking down on a vertical tree trunk. Now, how is that possible? Has this got bitten by a radioactive spider or what? The answers to this question were given by the owner of this goat herd, who verified that these are Moroccan goats, who have the superpower of climbing up any surface that seems impossible to even stand on, like mountains and trees. It turns out they have specialized hooves that help them stay on uneven surfaces. Another reason they like to climb on trees is that it helps them to find vegetation and fruits on which to graze. Cow tongues nailed to trees. Shocking the people of New York, this discovery made headlines as it was something nobody could ever expect, because the trees in the public park had tongues nailed on them. So many of them on so many trees. So the authorities were called, and upon closer examination, they revealed that not of some human, but they belonged to cows. All 12 of them. And determined to find the culprit behind this cruel act while they tried their best, leaving no signs he was never caught. But when uploaded on social media, people claimed that not entirely new, but actually nailing animal tongues to trees is an old ritual practiced in some parts for fulfilling people's wishes. Fossilized tree. Greek scientists found a 20-meter-long petrified tree intact during road work near an ancient forest in the town of Lesbos. The giant tree is estimated to be around 20 million years old. And not just that, scientists have also found out the tragic fate of the tree. It was determined that it was petrified by a volcanic eruption. Excavating a fossilized tree? Now that's a little unheard of. The discovery has even told the scientists about the environmental conditions at that time, as the discovered tree is found to be subtropical. This is the first time a preserved tree has been found in such good condition in the area since excavations began in 1995. Mysterious animal. A farmer in a Russian town in 2011 heard a large boom near his farm. When he went into the farmhouse to investigate, he was shocked to see a mysterious petrified creature hanging from a tree inside the farmhouse. It appeared as if the creature had crashed from the sky. It appeared as if it had died from the impact. No one seemed to recognize it. If we talk about its appearance, it possessed a strange head with an elongated body and weird protruding limbs. After the video surfaced online, everything went mum as no further explanation was provided. The only two speculations that seemed relevant said that it could be a mummified animal or some burnt carcass. Fire inside tree. This scene is from California, where a tree can be seen burning in flames from the inside. Why and how it is happening is a total and complete mystery. And here too, the residents of Trinity, Texas were shocked to witness the petrifying sight of a tree burning from the inside. Seriously, how is it even possible that the outside of the tree is purely unaffected by the burning flames? The reddish-orange flames were burning out the tree's insides and even protruding out of the openings, but strangely the outer bark of the tree was completely unaffected. People started calling the sinister phenomenon a devil undertaking, but in reality, it was just due to the lightning strike. This next one is from Sonoma, California, which got affected by the California wildfires. The trees definitely give apocalyptic vibes. Moose carcass on tree. Where usually explorers expect to find animal bones in the woods, what they don't expect is them to be stuck in a tree. But again, spotting the unexpected, this man came across a moose carcass stuck on a tree. While the head was not visible and therefore not eaten too, everything else had become the meal of wild animals. So what happens is that coming with so much speed, sometimes the animals miscalculate the distance of the trees and thus get stuck in them. And here are a group of friends who came across another moose, this time on the forest ground, which is also about to go into the animal's gizzards. But this one here with no head and, well, not resembling a moose, hanging on a tree was captured by a hiker. But a similar thing happened with this one too, as it was eaten by the hungry wild. Ancient animal skulls. Okay, I see a bull's head, some antlers probably, a few limbs, and that's all the bones I can detect from the tree. A camper while trying to find the rest of his group as he got lost in the deep forest present in a remote area of Spain. This man stepped on something creepy, looking like some deteriorating carcass, while he was trying to digest this creepy discovery. He looked around and there it was. A long tree with multiple animal bones sticking out of it. While there is a pretty good chance some might have hanged them there, it is the reason behind this eerie action, which scared everybody. Creature hanging from tree. An unknown creature? A wild animal's tail? Seriously, what is this creature hanging from the tree? While exploring the local woods, the man came across this hairy thing. Assuming it might be some squirrel that was stuck in a tree. It was when he reached the tree, the man was surprised. As no head, no arms, not a proper body. It was just stuck there. So, did somebody put it there on purpose? Or did he really accidentally come across an ominous creature? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Butterfly tree. Walking through a forest in Mexico in the hope to collect some prehistoric remains, a guy was stunned to find these mysterious fir trees. Long trees and heavy boughs. But strangely, the weight was not due to leaves, as upon a closer look, he found millions of butterflies clinging to the trees, which might have gathered for some special purpose. So basically, they are monarch butterflies that after migration have formed these huge clusters for hibernation and covered the leaves, making them look like a true butterfly tree. But they will not remain stuck here always, as after the arrival of spring, they will fly to find a mate, and this cycle will continue again. Frog living in tree trunk. Strolling and coming near a tall coconut tree, a group of teenagers started examining the old-looking trunk. And that's when they spotted this tiny frog taking shelter inside the tree, which has made his home there. And was surprisingly not alone, as there were honeybees living there too, which were serving as a food source for the smart frog, because living there it was consuming the honeybees. Therefore, when the guys tried to bring it out, it went way inside the trunk, indicating its answer. Bat tree. Looking like a pretty floral tree from far, it is when the video is zoomed that the tree reveals its vicious features. Okay, I may have exaggerated it a little, but that's just how the tree felt to me. Filled with hundreds of bats hanging upside down, waiting for dark night to come, so they can start their search to fill their stomachs with poor reptiles and insects. If not sinister, what else is it? So basically, that is just a bat tree in the Royal Botanic Garden of Sri Lanka. Planted in the early 80s, that tree has survived through generations and has carried the bats' generations too, which makes it stand out among the others. Canister filled with bones. A freaky head and some even freakish limbs, all stuffed in a metal canister, enough to give anybody chills. An explorer, while exploring a forest, was prepared to encounter the wild animals, but was shocked when he came across a strange canister placed under a tree, at first thinking it might be some prank. When the man cautiously went near the canister and dared to open it, he was left stunned to find the unexpected under it: a camel's head, some creepy legs, and even a few bones. All this was enough to send the man back towards his home. Therefore, what was it, and for what reason was it placed there, could never be known. Boneyard. Looks like a flood of bones has covered the landscape of Arizona. This is no doubt a horrifying sight that was captured in the year 2010. At first thinking there might be some witchy stuff going on in the ground, because there was a cemetery nearby. The examiners were shocked even more when they learned the truth. As not something sorcery, but actually it was the work of a crematorium owner, as he had a contract with a research company, which after conducting research would return the bodies or the skeletons to the owner for him to cremate them. And once it's done, he would throw them in 2 open pits, which explains the boneyard found along the forest. Deer skulls. Here, this man from California was recording his visit to the woods near his hometown when he spotted bones scattered on the ground. At first, not aware about which animal does the bones belong to. It was upon closely examining the carcasses he came to know that those were deer skulls and bones. Some perfectly attached together, the others spread across the trees. It looked like some deadly deer ritual had happened here, because nothing else but only the skeletons were there. The story behind this weird entity could never be known. While the previous man found carcasses, this man only found skulls. Not 1 nor 2, but a whole bunch of unknown skulls. Though some looked like deer skulls, the others looked quite mysterious. Checking and then picking some, though scared, he tries to find out the truth about the deer skulls. Mysterious posters. In the middle of the dense forest and under the long trees, trying to find a nice spot for camping, the man spotted a frightening sight. As he was going his way, he saw these posters pinned to the trees. Not a few, but many of them, each pasted on a single tree, with people's names written and pictures drawn. Each poster stated that these people were missing. But how come so many of them got lost in the woods? And if not lost here, why would anyone post their pictures in the deep jungle? While the guy had eerie vibes coming from the place. There were some skeptics too who claimed that the video was a prank played by some teenagers. But with nothing mentioned on the video, not even the exact spot where it happened, nobody could tell what it was in reality. Snake den. While walking through a rocky track, the guy stumbled upon something, not recognizing the small oval-shaped pebbles scattered near a tree. He thought he came across some unique rocks, but it was soon after he started examining the surroundings that the hiker realized that they were actually snake's eggs. A grass snake, to be precise, who probably had a den in a tree stump, as it showed signs of the snake's presence. But sadly, a badger finding the eggs destroyed them, and of course the den too, and forced the mother to take off. Therefore, leaving her almost destroyed clutch behind must have gone for another place. Millions-old carcass. Existing long before humans ever set foot on the earth, even a single bone of a dinosaur is extremely valuable for the researchers. And here a man found a T-Rex carcass laying on a forest ground. Feeling so real, it looks like the dinosaur would come alive at any moment. But actually, it is millions of years old. Spotted in the Amazon forest, which is itself a mystery. Though many people believe that it was an actual carcass of a prehistoric animal, some denied the dino theory and called it just a prop. So a setup or a real one? Let me know what you guys think of the creepy bony structure. Buck's rack explodes! While we are used to seeing bucks stuck in trees, which are sometimes rescued and the rest of the time meet their fates, here are a couple of explorers who were out in the jungle after midnight, and they were heading back when they spotted some mysterious things. As stuck on the tree's bark were the antlers of a buck, but with no wounded buck around. They were shocked to see the antlers only, which sometimes usually falls off but are often seen exploding due to the burst in blood vessels and leave holes in their antlers. Well, picking them from there, the guy brought them home and saved them as a memory of the poor buck who had lost it. Tree gushing water. Cutting down to a tree to get some logs. But wait, what is this stuff coming out of its tough bark? Here we have a short clip of a tree that was being cut in order to get some wood. But surprisingly, just when the lumberjacks started the logging procedure, the tree split out a huge stream of water from an open crack on its trunk, and the muddy water could be seen flowing all around. It might seem shocking, but some trees are able to store water, and upon cutting, can gush the stored liquid with immense pressure. Ram horns. Giving the wicked vibes, these ram horns were found inside a 100-year-old tree. But where these horns are an incredible sight for the spectators, they hide a horrifying story inside. So what happened was that the ram accidentally got its head stuck inside a tree and was unable to get it out. And then, struggling hard and hard at last, it gave up and died with its skull inside the tree. And then, while the rest of the body becomes the meal of the wild animals, the tree grew through the skull and the horns too, making them look like a part of the tree. Giraffe's neck stuck in a tree. Not any serpent or any other treasure hidden inside the tree. This time I found a short clip of a majestic animal that got the most significant part of its body stuck in a cruel tree, which became the cause of its departure. Filmed at an unknown location, this distressing clip shows a huge, giant giraffe with its neck trapped inside these wicked tree trunks. No one knows how this large animal ended up like this, but it is strongly believed that it might be trying to eat leaves from this cursed tree. Got its neck trapped and suffocated to a bitter end. Dog rescued from tree trunk. While exploring a forest to learn more about nature, a young couple was stunned to hear the petrified howling of an animal. Searching for the voice source, they stumbled upon a rotten tree trunk and noticed the help call was coming out of it. Not sure at first, but upon getting closer, they found an animal trapped inside the tree. Just when one of the guys managed to open the trunk with the help of a shovel, a dog was found trying to emerge from the little opening. At last, the tree was completely pulled apart, and the poor animal was freed. Thankfully, it was rescued timely. Otherwise, this trunk might have become the cruelest coffin for the poor pet. strange paw. Okay, this one's gonna need a little head scratching. A group of people were wandering in the woods near Alexis Creek, Chilcotin, British Columbia, on a mission to plant trees when they came across this disturbing specimen. It was a hominid foot or a hand, but was purely unrecognizable. If you are thinking that it might be of a chimp or gorilla, rest assured, as the experts have refuted these claims after the examination. However, a theory about it belonging to a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot has gotten pretty famous. To be quite honest, it doesn't seem like it belongs to any animal. I'd say nothing can be said for sure, unless a DNA analysis would be performed. Anaconda resting on tree. Hunting for rotten trees and cracking them out to remove the snakes is a very common practice. What about this stocky serpent dangling on a tree? While moving across a river in the Amazon forest, a group of tourists was stunned to witness this giant anaconda resting on a tree on the riverbank. Although green anacondas are one of the largest snakes in the world, thankfully they are non-venomous. And more thankfully, this one was in a lethargic state and was sleeping. But this doesn't mean they can't attack, as they can quickly suffocate the prey for perfect swallowing. This horrible fact made the curious onlookers film the sleeping anaconda by managing a safe distance. Here we have an image of a mysterious tree that was found somewhere in the middle of a haunted forest. At first, it might appear as an ordinary tree, but if we take a closer look, the hard, dark bark will reveal a very shocking truth. A humanoid face with some terrifying features trying to emerge from the tree trap. According to a few legends, this face might belong to the spirit of people who got lost in these haunting woods, while some have a firm belief that there must be some demon imprisoned inside this ancient tree as a punishment. However, according to botanists, sometimes trees bark upon growing older and may take different mysterious shapes. Even after so many explanations, I would like to get your opinion as well. What do you guys think of this unfamiliar looking tree? Caterpillars covering tree. Witness this sight of thousands of hairy caterpillars covering a tree trunk. It seems as if the whole tree is covered with either caterpillars or their web. And here is another video with a caterpillar group getting cozy together on a tree trunk. Although at first glance it looks like a strange creature clinging to the rubber tree, it's just your daily caterpillars clumped together. And here it gets really interesting. Just look at this. Yeah, they really are dancing to the beat. How cool is that? Caterpillars tend to shake their bodies and heads whenever they hear loud sounds. It's a way for them to ward off any attacker from a potential predator or a parasite. So, if you happen to be near them, don't deliberately shout or scream, as it'll terrify them. Anaconda stuck inside a tree. Now, what are these guys up to? Tearing a trunk to obtain the hidden treasure, or just to collect some logs? Somewhere in the middle of the Indonesian forest, a group of people, while collecting wood, were overjoyed to find a fallen huge tree. But it wasn't until they looked inside the hollow trunk, as the large fallen tree was actually a resting place of a huge anaconda that was not very happy to see the humans around. It was very unusual to find an anaconda inside a tree, as tree cores are mostly occupied by snakes. However, the rescue team was called immediately and tore the rotten trunk to pull out the slithering anaconda that was later moved to a nearby reptilian care center. Honeybees! Here we have a peculiar sight where a colony of honeybees can be seen flying towards a rotten tree log, and a lady can be seen trapping them by placing cardboard at the opening. There is a little trick to that, as she is using the rotten tree trunk as a means to raise honeybees in the forest. Many people use this trick to harvest bees. And here is a nice swarm hanging on a tree trunk. Ugh, this is making me uncomfortable just by looking at it. I, for one, could never get close to a bee swarm. I mean, who would? Buddha heads on roots. Located at the temple of Wat Matat in Athuya, Thailand, this is the head of Buddha between the roots of a tree. It looks as if the Buddha's head is about to be devoured in sacrifice by this centuries-old banyan tree. No one knows how it got there, but the people who visit the temple each year claim that this is a sacred tree, and the Buddha's face appeared in it miraculously. However, others claim that it was placed there by the devotees. But how can a ceramic statue not break by the tree roots? Perhaps it does have a mystified background. The mystery and speculation are a part of the fascination that draws thousands of tourists to this place each year. Let us know by commenting below. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.